Darling, you send me, I know you send me.
Hi everyone, in today's video we will be discussing my experience with applying to Canadian universities and the Canadian university application process in general. So today I will be going over the overall process, just briefly covering the process of applying to universities in Canada, my experience with that process, the programs that I decided to apply to and the programs that I got accepted into, my marks, the extracurriculars that I did, and my overall decision which program I picked, and then my thoughts afterwards. So with that being said, let's just get started. Alright, so the first thing we're going to be discussing today is the entire application process. So before you apply, the things that you need to know I have mentioned in my previous videos, so if you guys want to go check that out. In it, I talked about doing research and going to the Ontario University Fair. So in September of your grade 12 year, you guys will have to do a lot of research to decide which programs you guys want to apply to. Be sure to attend the Ontario University Fair and multiple presentations by the different universities. Be sure to visit the universities that you want to attend and do campus tours, which is a great way to get to know the university. That being said, in mid-November, you do get your OUAC code or OUAC code, which allows you as an Ontario applicant to apply to the Canadian universities and specific programs. So that's what I'll be mentioning today. So I am an Ontario applicant, so I will be discussing the application process through my perspective basically, because mine is different from an international student applying. So it'll be different for you if you're coming from a different country and applying to Canadian universities from there. So after signing up and just creating your account, including your adding your personal information, etc., you can basically apply to any university program that you'd like. If you're applying this early, that basically means that you're trying to look for early admission. So if your grade 11 marks were really great, I'd suggest you guys apply as early as you can. So this means before your winter break starts, be sure you make sure that you submit your application. Okay, so your final deadline to basically submit your application would be around mid-December. That would be the latest you can submit your application to be considered for early admission. That being said, the cost of the application is $50 per application that you want to apply to. It is again $150 for 3 programs, and then a program you add on top of that, you're gonna have to pay $50 extra. So most people apply to 3 programs. That's like the least you can apply to. So the way people plan it out is they have one program that they're hoping to get into, that's a reach for them. Then a second program that is just in the middle of your grade range. If it says mid-80s, you're literally at around 85, 86. And then your fallback, basically, which means that, if the program requires you to get 75, around 75, you have like an 80, 82, 83, around that range. So basically your grades are way above the admission average for that particular program. So in this way, you're able to plan out your courses correctly and ensure that you will have an offer of admission come the time to accept an offer. So if you're not looking for early admission, you can still apply, obviously. If your grade 11 grades are not so good, maybe your grade 12 first semester grades are really good, then I would suggest applying January. Honestly, the earlier the better. If you know what you want to do, just go ahead and apply. If you don't, which was a little bit like me, I had no idea what I wanted to do, I waited a little bit. I applied to some programs and I applied to some more a couple days later because I didn't have an idea of exactly what I wanted to do. Okay, so the application deadline is around February 1st. Basically by that date, you should have your application and your supplementary applications in. So I know for some programs, they require a supplementary application on top of just, applying to that particular program. For example, I did when I applied to the Queen's University program, and I had to fill it out by February 1st. After you apply, by around mid-February, you'll start to get offers. Around that time, you'll also get your first semester grades. So universities will have a look at that and you may get an offer then, or you may get an offer. If a lot of your prerequisites are in the second semester, you'll probably get a later offer around maybe May, April, around that time. That being said, around that mid-February timeline, you may want to apply for awards applications, award profiles, to ensure that you do get some scholarships for the university that you're applying to. Then universities will send out their offer of admissions. around, well, it really depends on what university you apply to. Universities do it by different months. So I know U of T does, they have a fall round going out, then they have a March round going out, and they have one in May going out. So it really depends on the universities you're trying to apply to. Alright, the next thing that I will be talking about is the programs that I applied to. So this is my personal experience. It is different for everyone. It depends on what program you apply to. It depends on the university you apply to. But for me, I had applied to 6 programs in total. Now that is a lot. I was very unsure what I wanted to go into, which led me to applying to so many programs. That being said, I applied to a diverse range of programs, and a lot of the programs that I applied to had really nothing to do with each other. So let's just go over the 6 programs I applied to. So the first one was Humanities at McMaster University. So this program was for me to be able to keep my option to do law in the future open. I was very unsure if I wanted to go into science, because a lot of my high school courses were science-based, or if I wanted to go into the humanities side and do law and just prepare for pre-law, pre-LSAT. So that's the first program I applied to. The second program was Honors Science at Queen's. This program was the one that I needed to apply for a supplementary application, basically. And with this program, I really chose this program because it was very broad, and it gave me the ability to go into any stream of science I wanted, whether that's psychology or whether that is molecular biology. It's all it was really all in my control of, the broad program gave me the option to pursue any career in science I really wanted. Okay, the next program that I applied to was the Co-op Psychological and Health Science program at U of T SC. So this was, again, the Scarborough campus. I applied to this program because it had a co-op opportunity. This university campus was very close to my house, so I wouldn't have to do residence, which would make it cheaper. Also, I liked the psychology aspect of this program a lot, and it would give me the practical hands-on work even before I finished university, which was a great plus point for me. Alright, the fourth program, I think it is, I applied to Law and Society at York University. This is very much a fallback, I guess you can say. I was 10% over more than 10% even over the grade average that was required, and the admission average required for this program. This program was, again, more of that law-based program that I wanted to keep open for me. I had a pretty good law program. That being said, I wasn't really intrigued by York University, so I was really unsure about this program, and I applied to this program very last minute. The fifth program I applied to was University of Toronto Life Science. This was the St. George campus, or the downtown campus. I applied to this program because it had a lot of focus on psychology, but I did hear a lot of negatives about this program from other people as well, where your GPA kind of takes a big hit. Honestly, University of Toronto, the campus itself, when I visited it, it was a beautiful campus and I loved the downtown feel. But that being said, I really wanted to feel like the campus was at home, that at home feeling, that comfort feeling at the campus, which I didn't really feel as much at University of Toronto. The last program I applied to was the Earth and Environmental Science program at McMaster University. This was my second program that I applied to at McMaster University. I was very unsure about it because it had a lot to do with the environment, and I didn't really know if I was really interested in that. That being said, I really loved McMaster University, and visiting the campus made me really feel at home, and I felt that I could really, the campus was really nice. It felt the town itself was really nice around McMaster as well, so I really liked that program. So now, before I get into the programs that I got accepted into, I wanted to talk about my marks.
So basically, you just need to go to...
So my overall average was 90% exactly. Now, most of the programs I applied to had a lower admission average than the grade that I actually had. That being said, I'll discuss the courses that I took, but I won't be going into the specific marks of each course that I took. So in my first semester of grade 12, I took leadership, which was an interdisciplinary.
You want him to do you so much you could do anything?
Yes, interdisciplinary leadership. I had chem, and then I had English, and then the last course I just took a spare. And then for my second semester, I took biology, business leadership, which was an e-learning course. Then I took calculus, and I had a spare as well. So a lot of people say not to take 2 spares in your grade 12 year because taking a course instead of a spare will give you the option to bump out your lowest marks, which is great advice. But what I just did was I wanted to take a spare in grade 12, so instead I took a grade 12 course in my grade 11 year, which was advanced functions. And I did really well in it, which gave me the opportunity to take 2 spares in grade 12. Originally, I only took 1 spare, which was my first semester. But after going into physics in second semester, I really didn't like it, so I dropped physics, and so I was left with afternoon off, but 1 spare, and I also got my e-learning course, which I could do at home. Okay, so in terms of my extracurriculars, I was very involved in school, especially during my grade 11 and grade 12 year. I was involved in student council, running prom committee. I was heavily involved in athletics as well. I was on the rugby team for 4 years. I was on the basketball team. I was also on the badminton and cricket team. I also joined the all-girls robotics team, and I joined DECA to do more business-oriented stuff. So the last thing I'll be talking about today is the programs that I got accepted into. So I got accepted into 5 of the 6 programs that I had applied to. The first program that I got acceptance from was York University. This was kind of a given for me, but I literally applied on one of the last days, and then 2 days later I got an acceptance from them, which was great. I was still very excited. It was my first acceptance letter. I was stoked. The second program I got accepted into was the humanities program at McMaster University. This program, and I was very excited. I love McMaster University, so this just made me really happy. The third program I got accepted into this was around beginning of March basically, and a lot of these acceptances that I got was beginning of March. So the Queen's Science Honors Program, I was really, really happy with this program. This program was pretty competitive as well, and I knew that Queen's was really good for science. So getting into this program was just really good. The fourth program I got accepted into was the Earth and Environmental Science program at McMaster. Again, I was really happy. This was more of the Faculty of Science, which made me a lot happier than getting into the humanities program. And I knew I really liked McMaster, so I was very, very happy. Fifth program I got accepted into was the University of Toronto Scarborough campus Psychological and Health Science program. This program offered co-op. It was a program that was really close to home for me, so I didn't have to live on residence. I can still live at home. So I was very happy. The University of Toronto is one of the best universities in the world, so it made me really happy to get into this program. The only program I did not get into was the University of Toronto St. George campus Life Science program. This program, after I applied to it, I really didn't I wasn't as happy as I was in the beginning, when I did apply. I used to really like the campus, but I felt like the program just wasn't something that was for me, if that makes any sense. And it wasn't a program that, at the end of the day, even if I did get into it, I don't think I would have picked this program, but yeah. Alright, so my final decision came down to a lot of factors. It came down to the university. That was a big thing for me. It came down to the campus itself and the campus activities. It came down to the program itself, which program would not limit me into pursuing different options. And so I decided to go with the Earth Science program at McMaster University. This program was basically a gateway program. It gave me the option to specialize in my second year, so I still had a year to think about exactly what courses I wanted to take, what courses I liked in science particularly. So it was a very general program, as specific as it sounds. It was very general. I would be taking most things that any life science or health science person would be taking in first year, and then I would be specializing at the end of my first year, which was great. And I also love McMaster, and I wanted to live on residence at McMaster, so picking this program was literally just perfect for me. I knew that this program would really make me happy, and I was really interested in the astronomy and earth science portion of it, so I was very excited for this program. If you guys want any more information about this program in particular, or McMaster University in particular, and any information about the university itself, please be sure to leave a comment down below letting me know that you are interested. I will make a video about McMaster University in particular in the future. That being said, if you liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you have any other video suggestions, please do leave it in the comments down below. And also hit the subscribe button. I think it should be somewhere here on the screen, somewhere on the screen, or just once you scroll down below, the red button, just click that. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.
Let me